What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest and possibly even last PlayStation handheld, the PS Vita. So without further ado, let's get to it. Originally released back in February of 2012, the PS Vita was initially very positively received and sales backed this up. But as early as even 2013, just a year after it launched, it was already beginning to stall. As of it being discontinued in March of 2019, it had only sold around 16 million units worldwide. Hardware-wise, the console featured a quad-core ARM Cortex A9 CPU and a PowerVR SGX 543 MP4 Plus GPU, backed up by 512 megabytes of RAM. Fun fact here, that GPU is actually the same one used in a third-generation iPad. The screen on the original model that I've got here is a 960 by 544 multi-touch OLED panel, and it is gorgeous with deep blacks and rich colors that put the later PCH 2000 model Vita to shame. Let's start out with what I don't like about the Vita. First up, the original PCH 1000 model Vita uses this proprietary USB cable that's big, chunky, and it should have been a micro USB, like the PCH 2000 Vita was. And secondly, and also one of the reasons the Vita sold so badly, the memory cards. Unfortunately, they're almost a necessity because the original model of the Vita has no built-in storage. They're ridiculously expensive even today, and they were unquestionably one of the biggest contributors to the console's poor sales. Thankfully, nowadays you can jailbreak your Vita and use a PS Vita to micro SD card adapter that goes in your game cartridge slot on the top. This limits you to playing downloaded games, but in my opinion, it's well worth it. A quick note on the Vita cartridges here. I suspect that unlike older systems, these cartridges actually use flash memory instead of read-only memory, because game load speeds actually improved for me with the SD adapter, and if the carts used ROM, I can't imagine that would be the case. When it comes to software, the Vita is old enough that it implements what's called skeuomorphic design. Basically, this means everything isn't flat like a modern version of iOS or Android. The whole interface actually has this really nice depth to it that's aided by the butter-smooth animations and that OLED display. And just a personal thing here, I really like stuff with home screen menu music. I mean, I could listen to this music and the crystal theme here all day. UI aside, now comes the question of the hour. How does it game? As much as I hate to say this, pretty good, but not great. First off, the dead zones on the thumbsticks are way too big. Next, all of the 3D games I've played so far drop below 30 FPS for extended periods of time, and while this isn't unexpected for a handheld console, it's worth mentioning. But the real problem comes with the games that try to shoehorn in uses for the Vita's touchscreen, touch panel, or gyroscope. To be clear, these unique hardware features are great to have, and some games like Tearaway, for instance, wouldn't be possible without them. The problem comes when developers use them unnecessarily. Uncharted Golden Abyss is a particularly egregious example of this. For me, and I suspect many others, a large part of the reason for using a handheld console over a smartphone is the physical controls, and far too many first-party PS Vita games just don't seem to realize that. Aside from that though, it's fantastic. Whether you're into racing, RPGs, graphic novels, first-person shooters, or even shmups, you'll find it on the Vita, as well as a few truly standout games like Tearaway and Gravity Rush. The graphics are all gorgeous, about on par with the PS3, and the instantaneous pixel response times of the OLED screen means that, unlike the PSP, motion blur is non-existent. And because the screen is only 5 inches, its pretty low resolution still equates to a nice crisp 220 pixels per inch. Battery life is also pretty good, and the later PCH 2000 model is supposed to last even longer. Now, if you don't mind jailbreaking your Vita, and you happen to fly a pirate flag above your house, PKGJ paired with the NoNP DRM plugin will let you download any of the umpteen bajillion Vita, PSP, or PSX games and DLCs for free, so you aren't likely to run out of things to play anytime soon. And if for some reason you just happen to have an inexplicable hatred for all things Vita, the third-party Adrenaline app taps into the Vita's native PSP emulator to literally turn your Vita into a fully functional PSP. So just throw a huge SD card in here and have your entire PSP library playable on that beautiful OLED screen. I mean, what's not to like about that? Now, I don't really recommend the Vita as an MP3 player, but you can listen to music and watch videos on here. The camera is 0.3 megapixels, and it's lackluster at best. But hey, it could always be worse. So in conclusion, if you're looking for a handheld console and you're wondering if you should get the Vita, allow me to answer your question with a question. Do you like having fun? As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit like, get subscribed, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.